He asked, he doesn't see any benefits to marriage as a man. Ladies, what you bring to the table to convince me and Brian to get married. Well, one question before we get into that, just show of hands, who here wants to get married? Show of hands. So that's yes. That's everybody except you. Well, you were already married, so maybe you had a bad experience. And then who here wants to have kids one day?
In between.
No kids. Okay, all right. Was that a kind of a
No,
iffy?
I'm just putting it
you
out
do.
in a weird way.
Okay, so and you said you want to get married, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So Bucky Larson asks, I guess I'm kind of the sole man out here besides Peachy. Peachy. Don't want to get married. You guys do want to get married. I'm ready for you guys to try to convince me why I or other men should get married.
Like
Any takers?
First of all, I don't know why we have to convince you to get married, right?
You
if
have
we
to.
have to convince
You have to convince me.
then it's not gonna work. We're gonna get a divorce. That's 100% the case. You
Well, no,
cannot be
you-
convinced to do something you don't want to do.
You convince him to get married, then he's committed to the idea. Now he commits to a
So
woman.
he changed his mind because I changed his mind permanently.
And then the relationship with the woman, and he commits to her. So you're not convincing him to like walk down the aisle tonight. You're convincing him to acquire the mindset in order to get married and have a successful marriage.
The only way I can see 100% guaranteed commitment of a guy with a girl is if I pay you a certain amount of money. We have a legal document that say if you cheat on me, you're gonna lose a toe or something. Then I think you're never gonna cheat and you're gonna be committed 100%.
I don't think that's how that works. There are spies. There are people who risk their lives to betray the people who pay them money to like there's men aren't
I
motivated
think it's
that way.
more likely that a man cheat out of commitment than like some man like trying to like hunt him down in your situation, if that makes sense.
I'm so sorry. I don't.
Oh, sorry. I guess, never mind. Yeah, I just feel like that's the only way you can guarantee a man doesn't cheat. That's the most likely way.
Wait, how do
in a
you
way.
guarantee it?
Physical bodily harm?
No, physical
Threatening him with signing a contract.
Yeah, contract, legal
Implied,
binding, and like monetary value. Because you cannot convince love. I cannot convince anybody to be committed to me. But I can have a legal document say you cannot say these shit, you cannot do these shit, you cannot touch another woman. That is more bonding and more likely to obey.
Find a good person.
That's true, but if they want me to convince them, I don't know if they're a good person or not. So.
Your plan has flaws. For the first entire half of my life, I broke the law for a living. Like, a contract isn't going to make a guy obey. The prison is full of people right now. They do not care about contracts.
Let me ask you a question. If you don't want to marry this girl and she wants to convince you to marry her, is it more likely that you cheat on her? Or is it more likely that you betray the contract?
In this scenario where you just proposed, I agree.
Yeah.
That man you should just not be together.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But there's a question phrase that we need to convince these two people. These two people are not in love with any of us.
No. The question isn't to convince them to marry each other or for Bucky to marry Brian, which would be awesome. But it's to convince Brian of the concept of marriage is good and he should be open to
Why
it.
would
That it's about more than
be
just
open
taxes.
to marriage?
Like
Why would he be open to marriage? Why is it such a wonderful idea to get married?
Like, Peachy, why don't you want to get married?
Yeah.
I am not so cynical that I say I will never get married again. I have been burned. I will go into it with a lot more thought
So when
the next time around.
do you
There
are
has
you
to be
open to a relationship
no
currently?
question whatsoever.
Yeah.
I want to find like my soulmate.
Sure.
You know?
So you are looking for the man you want to marry. You're just saying
Scared
that
of
it's
the
like
marriage.
that you have incredibly
I
high
would be
standards.
very hesitant. I would need to like just wholeheartedly believe that
This is the one.
this is like meant to be.
Yeah.
But you desire to meet him.
that you want to have.
Yes.
So you do want to get married.
Yes.
You just want Prince Charming to do it, which is fair. That's fair.
I wouldn't be able to like convince someone because I don't even understand all the rules and what everything would mean and that. But I just think it would be so nice to meet someone. We adore each other so much. We just want to do everything that's possible. Have kids, get married. Like my mum and dad have been married for like 36 years and I think it's the best thing in the world. And I think you just have to naturally want that with me. I can't tell you, oh no, because if you marry me, then this and that. I don't even know
Yeah,
what the
that's
rules
my
are.
point. Like, you cannot convince someone of love at all.
Why don't you want to get married? I'm just curious.
Yo, Robert Tanner, thank you for the gifted 50 memberships, man. Really appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat. So why don't I want to get married? Well, I guess let me lay it out like this. So my view is, absent both partners having a religious worldview, be it Christian or Muslim or Jewish or whatever it is, I actually don't see, from the secular viewpoint, actually any reasons, at least from the male perspective. And I suppose it's not even so much the male perspective as it is the breadwinner perspective. I don't actually see any reason to get married. Like, if anybody can make an actual secular argument, and I'm not sure this is a super Christian panel to begin with, but I can't think of any actual benefits to the man or to the breadwinner when it comes to getting married, at least that outweigh the risks. So for me personally, there's nothing that I can get in a marriage from a woman that I can't get in a monogamous long-term relationship.
Yeah, I have a hot take. I think might change.
Wait, hold on. Let's let her answer, then I'll let you go.
Sorry, I was just gonna say. So, it's a follow-up question actually. Have you ever been in love before?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's say everything was fine and dandy with that relationship. You wouldn't want to be married with that person, even though you were in love with them till this day.
Well, I'm not sure that's really. I don't know if that's really an argument.
Like
you love them,
hypothetical.
thus you must marry them.
But if she wanted
Because
to,
I-
Is she
because
good
I can-
enough compared to because I mean, something that I think about is if you're not committing to marriage, you're open to other options, right?
Well, aren't you open to other options even if you're married?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, marriage does not preclude one from infidelity.
No.
Yeah.
What about ritual marriage? Your issue is legal marriage. What if you were with a woman you loved and she said, no papers, but let's go have a priest or like a guy or someone
that.
marry us?
cute, I like that.
Well, I would have to actually investigate what the law actually says to that. Would there, even though it's not through the state, are there any legal implications to even getting a purely ritual marriage? If not, it's perhaps a little more enticing, but then I still don't really see the point.
Yeah.
I struggled with this.
There's
for a while,
data that
too.
shows men who are married like live longer, have better outcomes long term, and are healthier. But I can't like say that doesn't also apply to a long term, very committed monogamous secular relationship.
Why is
Giving
everybody
yourself a
so
bit of
scared of the
structure and
cheating
you are-
stuff? I hear everybody say, oh, we have to have a contract, you have to do this and this. Isn't marriage about a wonderful, loving commitment? Like, the man is the man, like, typical speaking, you're the man of the household, it's like what you're saying, very manly. The woman is in her feminine state. Together, you get married, you have such a wonderful pact together, such a wonderful, lovely, powerful thing. You can give that on to your children. You can be the woman, you can be the man, you can still be the breadwinner, but just like out of love. Why is everybody here so afraid? Oh no, he has to have a contract for cheating and stuff. If a person wants to cheat, he's going to cheat.
Sure.
Yes.
But I
Well-
think marriage should be about love and
Well,
everything that's
So
wonderful,
what's
not
your point?
contracts.
Your argument usually is you can get most of what you can get in a marriage outside of a marriage.
Correct.
I want to bring this to the table, and it's probably a crazy thought, but I think men in a marriage should have reproductive rights. If you actually get married legally, you should be able to have a say on whether or not your wife can get an abortion or not. I don't think it should be like you can just decree
So a
she can't
contract
or
thing
not.
again.
But it should be more of a conversation. You should have rights.
Well, I mean, so in this hypothetical scenario where, but I mean, that's not an argument that
But, like,
really
if it was
doesn't
a
pertain to the
possibility.
well, no, hold on. That doesn't pertain to the conversation at all because that's not the law as it.
That's fair.
So in a marriage, a woman should just be my slave legally, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm advocating for. But that's not how it is.
Can I
So I
add
don't see how it pertains
But
to the
I
actual
do
conversation.
believe what you're saying. I believe that a man should lead in a marriage.
No, but I'm more so making a criticism of,
Yeah.
she's saying, well, men should have this right in a marriage, but they don't, and quite frankly, they never will have that. So
is that an
it's kind
American
of like,
thing?
yeah, wishful
Contracts?
thinking
But if it wasn't,
Can I add
would it
something?
convince you?
for me. Well, but okay, so you're saying the wife, she wants to get an abortion, but I don't want her to.
Yeah, you'd have more of a right to be able
Well,
to
wouldn't
stop
that
her.
be such a mismatch of values that would not be the type of woman for me to
Yeah, I guess
to
I just
marry?
think of the scenario of when a woman's like, yeah, I'm ready to have a kid, and then they get scared after getting pregnant and they freak out and make a
But that would,
rash
so if
judgment.
you're, as a man, if you're pro-life and the woman is pro-choice, that's just an immediate mismatch
That's fair.
of values. So I don't think that,
It would even work in the.
I
I don't think
appreciate
it
what
would.
you're saying.
I think
but
I
I
have
think that
something
in
that-
practice it is kind of like I don't think that would be.
It'd be a whole ordeal for sure.
Yeah.
but go ahead,
So,
Isis.
you said that you can get all the benefits without the marriage. It may be true, and if it's true, what essentially you're saying is you're selfish. You're not willing to give out any part of you for a woman because you can get all the benefit. But marriage might be a financial security and a legal security for this woman. So this is exactly why I say you cannot convince you. We can never convince you because. Fundamentally, if you're selfish, I can't convince you to do something unless there's a value I'm providing you with, which is some kind of contract or money. Or let's say I'm a billionaire and you really want to be like a 500. This is a hypothetical situation. Then I'm like, oh, we're dating, and I'm like, okay, you have to marry me in order to get certain things. Then I think I could convince you. But if you can get all the benefits without marriage, why would you do it? It's against human nature, and it's not possible.
But why do you think it's selfish if a man doesn't want to get married? Why is that selfish?
No, I
maybe
don't think
he's
it's-
protecting himself. Maybe he's just still a very good provider. He will
Because-
still take care of your children. He will still be there. He will take care of everything. Why is that selfish?
If the girl wants to and he doesn't want to,
Isn't
I think
that
it's
selfish from the girl because
That's a
he's
very- that's a
pressing
good
him?
argument.
Then y'all just
What
shouldn't
about
be
if he's
Let me
still a
ask you
good
this.
provider for the
One
children
second.
at home? Isn't that selfish of the woman to pressure him? You say it's selfish of the man if he doesn't want to, but isn't that selfish of a woman to say, I want it, otherwise I will leave you? It's like a threat, right? It's not fair. It's
Yeah,
also a
it
little
is
bit
selfish.
selfish.
It is
I was
selfish, but we're
actually
trying to
gonna make that- I was
convince,
gonna make that
him. Right? Like, the question is how to
you have-
convince
Well,
him.
so-
You have
if
to
in
be
order
fair.
convince
You have to
him-
be fair
I'll
both
actually,
ways.
and I'll get you in
Yeah.
just a sec. I'll actually say, would I marry a female billionaire without a, what's it called?
Prenup.
That's the scenario in which I'll get married.
Yeah, that's
So it's
that's
about
like
the
a way to
money.
convince you, right? If someone wants
If
that.
she's a billionaire, I
Yeah.
will marry her.
Yeah, to address
it's
your
about
concern,
the
it's okay to be
marrying,
selfish.
the
I'm not
money.
saying like, oh, you're selfish and it's wrong. I'm talking about the topic of convincing, right? I'm just saying this is the way to convince someone who think of his own interests, and there's no good or bad. There's no judgment on that.
But do you not think it's a little dangerous? Because you say, I want to have a contract, I want to have everything, I want to have like a prenup thing if I married a billionaire. Where's the love then? Because you will only get married if there's a contract thing. Why is it not the beautiful way? Why is always, I have to provide you this and this and that, and that's why I want to get married?
Because I'm saying
Not-
this is the way I will use to convince him to get married. Not that I'm saying this is the best way. I'm not saying it's good to convince someone to get married. But the question is, how would you convince someone? Do you understand my point?
But why do you want to,
Right.
like,
I think I might have something that
Before I have you go, you had something, go ahead.
Yeah, so the way you're framing this question almost is like, why should I get married if it doesn't serve me in any way? And ultimately, like, it doesn't change anything about my relationship to this person I've been seeing long term or feel in love with. My question would be, what's the harm? If you're saying it doesn't really change anything anyway, why are you scared to get married?
Oh,
How is
well-
that? Is that a money thing?
Well, that's not what I'm saying. There are risks when it comes to getting married.
Yes, there are.
And so that's my objection to it.
But I'm asking you, I guess, what are those risks that you perceive?
So there's a couple. So there's one, untangling a marriage is complicated. So from the financial aspect, not just what the woman ends up getting owed, but the legal costs in and of themselves are going to be fairly substantial. Attorneys charge quite a bit. If you're the breadwinner, you're going to actually have to probably go ahead and pay
An
for her.
unreasonable man donated $200. My Chinese wife says the value in marriage is the strength and the security I provide. Money and the rest is meaningless. Lot of broken dolls on this panel. Be better.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Wasn't
it.
expecting that
Unreasonable.
voice.
Wait, is this grid one? Is this grid one?
How
think it's
do
grid
you
one.
have security without money? You said that money is meaningless. How can, like, that's a very stupid point.
That's a question for you, unreasonable man. So the financial risks, you have to pay for the attorney. You might have to even pay for your wife or soon-to-be ex-wife's attorney if you know there's a mismatch in her financial resources and yours. There's the time, the stress of untangling all that, and then there's going to be what she's owed, right? So anything, even with a prenuptial agreement, often these prenuptial agreements tend to get challenged by the person. Typically the woman who's typically also initiating the divorce, funnily enough. So for example, Kevin Costner, his divorce proceedings were here in Santa Barbara. He had a prenuptial agreement with his wife, and in the prenuptial agreement, it said, if you challenge the prenuptial agreement, you lose XYZ, and then she went ahead and challenged it anyways. So even with potential risks of challenging a prenuptial, the lawyers will still do it because they can maybe try to weasel out of it, whatever. Even with a prenuptial agreement, it typically only has to do with assets or money that you got before the marriage. But everything you got during the marriage really can't be, as far as I know, I could be wrong, not an attorney. This is just from my research. Prenuptial agreements can't really do much when it comes to what's earned during the course of the marriage. So if you've been married 5, 10, 20 years, for example, everything that's earned in the marriage is community property. So then she's just going to get half of everything earned throughout the course of the marriage. I think that this actually will lead to marriage can actually lead to a greater likelihood of the breakdown of the relationship, because if she's just dating you, and she breaks up, then she potentially loses any of those benefits that she has from dating you. But if she breaks up with you and she's like, oh, now there's a financial incentive to break up with you, I'm going to get X amount of money, then it's actually like pushing her towards ending the relationship. So
that's interesting.
That's pretty much.
I really agree with you. I want to say that I watched this soft white underbelly interview with this divorce lawyer about all the advice he's giving, and it is true that getting married is an event that is most likely to cause distraught and harm in the relationship and the benefit. And
Grid One Motorsports donated $200. Yes, that was me. Sorry, Streamlabs got me. Men provide security, being capable and competent. Even when I was not well off, my wife was not concerned because she had faith in my ability to provide.
Yeah,
Grid One. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
This is exactly what I was saying. If you have a man who will still take care of your children, provide in every way, is marriage not really necessary?
Sorry.
Security isn't him having money, it's him not leaving you when you both have no money.
Yeah, I think that comment meant emotional security.
Yeah, just to kind of continue the point I was making so I think I agree with you, because I think half the marriage end in divorce, and among the half that's not divorced, most of them are unhappy. So it's actually it's better off if we don't get married. That's true, but I do want to get married. I think it's just a personal thing.
Sure.
I did have one thing to say.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Just one last thing. That's why I was addressing to you. I'm I also have the selfish desire to not get married also. So I'm not saying it's good or bad to be selfish in what we want.
Yeah. What's your thing?
I have been through this, experiencing times where being married, especially in the military, you can't live with them unless you're married. And there's a lot of legal issues with that. If you are not in a legal marriage, the government doesn't see them as an extension of you. You can have trouble with power of attorney stuff and finances. I wouldn't be able to, if I was not married to my ex-husband, I would not be able to call his bank and say, hey, I need so-and-so, unless I'm married legally.
Is he still in the Marines?
No.
Oh, okay. I was you talking about his infidelity. It's illegal, isn't it? Can't he be court-martialed?
They can, yeah, but...
Yeah, okay.
Is it legal to cheat?
If you're in the military, yeah, you have to be...
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
No, in
the chain of command
everybody
usually
cheats, nobody
tries
cares.
to back them.
Wrath PSA says to the first lady, the marriage that didn't work out, he was alliance, wasn't he? Probably a no mage.
Oh gosh, no mage. That's funny. I don't think he was cool enough to play WoW.
Oh, okay. We have a chat here from Billiam the Mars. Hey, thank you, man, for the super chat. The Bible tells men to only get married to a woman if they are struggling with sexual immorality. Read 1 Corinthians 7:19.
I don't think
Only
that's
if they're
real
struggling.
at all.
Get married.
I don't think that's real.
Billiam the Mars, thank you. Giovanni, is that Shane Smith? Finally, some Catholic representation. Purge the heretics, brother.
Nice. That's funny.
All right, Giovanni, appreciate it, man. We got the.
Loose Pussy
LPE.
Energy donated $200.
Adam
Brian,
32?
Walmart Adam 32 is
Oh, wow,
embarrassing
okay.
himself. Marriage is a total L. 304s initiate 80% of divorces and most guys lose all their shit. I ain't fucking losing mine. Kiss my ass. Fuck y'all bitches.
Of course.
That voice is
Of
wild.
course, that's the view you have when you're poor.
Where you been, bro?
No, I
LP,
don't
where
think
you been? Shoot me a DM on Instagram or Discord. LP, shoot me a DM on Instagram or Discord. We have another chat coming in here real quick. We got Grid One.
Grid One Motorsports donated $200
Yo,
and
thank you, man.
1 cent.
Thank you, man.
Please give me a call when you get a chance tomorrow.
Okay.
And just because it seems relative how many of the panelists
Sure, we'll
are
ask them.
feminist, do not be shy. The patriarchy is here to help.
Yeah, we'll ask that really quick. Actually, last thing on the marriage thing, then we'll move it on to this and some other topics. Going around the table, if when you do get married, are you going to take your husband's last name or are you going to hyphenate?
It doesn't matter to me. Yes. No.
You'll take his. You'll take
Yeah,
his
sure.
last name.
Well, it depends on the name.
That makes sense. But I
Let's say
changed my
it's
answer
a
to that.
terrible last name, but he's like,
Like
I
what?
want you.
A
I don't
terrible
know, but he's like, I want you to take my last name. No
That's
ifs,
just, like,
ands, or
sadistic.
buts. How's it sadistic?
Because, like, what if your name is, like, Doofenshmirtz?
What's
You
wrong with
must
that?
take my name, even though it sounds just, like, stupid. and
Yeah.
your whole
So what would your
generation-
solution be
Well,
if it's a bad name? He takes yours?
Create our own.
Hyphen.
Some people are
like,
mixing
no,
their
it's
names
the
together.
superior. It should be the superior last name. Actually, you just keep your
That's fairly subjective.
Coolest sounding last name.
I see how that could descend into some kind of like racist thing
That's
pretty
what I'm
quick.
saying. Which one? The white one?
Okay.
Okay.
Parents.
What about you?
I'm keeping mine.
You're keeping yours?
My mom kept hers. I'll keep mine.
Okay, what about you?
Same with my family. I mean, I'm not opposed to taking last name if it's really bad. I have kind of a weird, like my real name is kind of weird. So if it didn't go well, I might keep it. And most of the women in my family do keep their last names. But if it's a man that's telling me like I'm not gonna marry you if you're not taking my last name, then I'm not gonna be with you. Like that, if it's that big of a deal, I think that like I should be able to keep it if I want to.
Okay.
I love my initials, but I'm going to take his last name.
I love my name so much. I've literally got it. I've got it tattooed on me. Kofi. My family are the best family in the world. I would definitely want to put both of our names. And anyone I've ever dated, they would be proud to be a Kofi.
Okay.
And we'll have both of our names.
Shane, what about you?
I will be keeping my own last name. Thank you very much.
But so like, from
no,
the-
I
from
wouldn't.
the
I
other
wouldn't marry
both
someone who
joining
wouldn't
each
take
other.
my name.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
there's
then,
no way.
You're married. What was the?
Definitely me taking his name.
You took his last
Yeah.
name.
And can I say a couple of things before we move on to the next topic, or do you just
Is
want
it
to move
related
on?
to the last name thing, or?
More to about the whole marriage in general.
Okay, hold it for now,
Okay,
but
cool.
I'll let you. Okay, I'm just confused with this whole last name thing. So, marriage is sort of, I mean, it's changed a bit, but it's a traditional thing. So I meant like, do you guys, for example, those of you who said you want to like, if the last name's not great, or you're like for sure going to keep your last name, whatever, or you have hesitations about taking his, do you want him to get down on one knee to propose? Do you want him to propose, period? No. Let's start over here.
Do I want him to propose if I don't want his last name?
No, just in general.
Do I want a guy to propose? in
You
general?
want him to propose as opposed to you proposing?
Well, I would prefer if like I had the kind of option, but like I feel like
Well, of course, you have the option.
of course. I just feel like it's like traditionally, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but I don't really care
Yeah. What else is traditional about marriage?
that it's usually involved with the church.
No, but you said traditionally the man will like be the one who proposes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in the culture.
Okay. Yeah. What else is traditional when it comes to marriage?
I would say having kids. It's
Taking
traditional.
someone's
what
last
what else
name.
is traditional?
The dress. Going.
Taking the name.
Yeah. So, okay, what about you? Do you want a guy to be
I say F the norms. I could get down on my knee. He could get down on his knee. She could get down on her knee. I don't
Okay.
care. But your argument is that, I'm saying I'm a proponent for marriage. I want to get marriage, and that's a traditional practice in itself.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of don't view it that way, which we don't have to get into. But
You don't view marriage as a traditional thing?
well, no, I do. But like, in my mind, I'd marry somebody because it's me showing my commitment to them. Like without all the financial stuff and all of that. Like
Sure.
I view it kind of as a gesture.
What is
In a way.
what are you bringing in order to show the commitment? Because you don't take their last name and you're not like into the traditions or whatever. So what is it exactly that you're?
Well, you talk about how there's all these risks in marriage with losing money and different things.
For men.
There's
Don't switch
divorce,
it,
well, not necessarily for men. You said the breadwinner, that
Sure.
could be the woman. Whoever it is, there's still risks on both sides. Both people can get hurt. Both people can lose material things. And by willing to take those risks, that's showing your commitment to each other. And I just want to be able to call somebody my partner one day.
You can call your non-married
Well,
person
Yeah,
your
partner is.
Wife or husband, and
can
not
still call them that.
be lying.
You can still call them that.
Can I though?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could.
If you think so, but that's my opinion.
But wouldn't it, couldn't you just make the reverse argument that a woman who's willing to stay with a guy despite her desire to get married, but she's willing to commit to him despite his unwillingness to get married, you can just make the same argument. She's showing a greater commitment to him. I'm willing to commit
so.
to you. I'm willing to commit to you despite this thing that I want, because I want to be with you enough that I don't need that. Isn't that a commitment?
That's
Yeah. You had something, and then I'm going to move it on from the marriage stuff. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think just the general marriage topic in general, I think it is a really big deal. I don't think that it's not just you can just, be with people and not be married. When you're choosing to be married, you're choosing to get the family involved. You're choosing to get legal with this stuff. You're saying you're supposed to be submissive to each other. And I think taking that leap kind of shows, hey,
Men are supposed to be submissive to their
each
wives?
other. Like,
To each other,
Like you
yes.
both are like humble with each other. You both listen to another.
You
I
respect
don't-
each other.
You believe that it
I don't
should
even
be-
know if that biblically that's correct.
Are you religious?
Not really, but
Men are
Well,
supposed
why
to
do you-
self-sacrifice.
Do you want to be equal
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
I don't
relationship?
think men are supposed to be.
It's not
submissive.
submissiveness. It's
Oh,
it's
a
a
little
willingness
toxic
to
masculinity
sacrifice.
sipping out.
Okay, go ahead.
That's
Go
a better
ahead.
way to say it.
But go
A
ahead with your point.
willingness. I'll say that.
Sure,
A
go
willingness. It's a willingness on both sides, and it's just a huge leap to say, "Hey, I'm serious about this." Because if you think about it, if you're with somebody, boyfriend, girlfriend, you've been together for let's say 10 years, living together, everything, you're involved with the family, you can just get up and leave. Like you can just be like, okay, and that I don't know. To me, it's kind of a red flag when someone says they don't want marriage because they're not willing to take that extra leap to actually
Yeah.
determine
Well,
themselves.
but here's the thing. So you said that if you've been dating for 10 years, the person can just get up and leave. Well, hold on. You can do that exact same thing if you're
But
married.
you have to go through, you gotta go through
So
the legal
basically,
stuff.
it's
You know what I'm
we
talking
are
about?
staying together under threat of lawsuit. Isn't that a
Yeah, well,
terrible
you can
reason to
still-
stay together with somebody?
Yeah.
But when
Excuse
you're
me, one more
getting,
second, sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, you can.
I was just gonna say, when you are choosing to marry somebody, you go in with that idea already that you know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of people are actually naive and they don't know the financial ramifications. It's actually very easy to get married. It's much more
Yes.
complicated
Oh
to
my
get
gosh,
divorced.
yes.
That's true.
You can go to the courthouse. I think, I don't know if you need witnesses or signatures. You can do that
Right.
instantly. To unwind that is a much more lengthy and expensive process.
Right, but who
That
wants a
made me-
marriage that's just like, oh, let's go over there. to the
Sure, I
courthouse
mean,
and-
it's probably, there's a
you know?
little more thought that's put into it, but
Yeah.
the actual process is a bit more simplified. But I mean, getting a divorce is very easy, in the sense that, it's complicated, but like, it's easy in the sense that you can just go do it.
Yeah. Just you
Nothing's
could start
stopping you from doing it.
There's just extra steps, I would say, that you really have to commit.
Well, I would rather, like, if my girlfriend wants to break up with me and she wants to break up with me, I'd rather just later.
Yeah.
I don't want you to, like,
The
oh man, I got to do
grueling
extra
process.
work to break up with him. I guess I'll stay with him. Nah, if you're not about me, that's why, like, if a girl ever threatens a breakup to try to get, like, some, like, if there's something, a problem in the relationship, we can have a conversation about it. The minute a girl starts threatening breakups and that shit, it's over.
Yeah.
But
I
imagine,
don't play that shit where we're
ultimatums.
going to be like on and off again. You're going to
Yeah,
threaten
that's- yeah.
breakups.
So don't
We can
marry
have-
that person.
Well, we can have a conversation about the
Manipulative.
issue, but if you're using a breakup as leverage,
yeah.
later,
Yeah, no.
I have
goodbye.
like, imagine this: you married a girl, you got her pregnant, she had a baby, and then you cheated on her with another woman.
Sure.
3 months. Let's do the Ariana case. You know what happened. And then this man is a piece of shit. Doesn't want to give any child support. Can just leave without any legal document. So those women have a baby because she is in during her like leave, so she doesn't have any pay, and then she lose his job. She lose her job, and then she's just all alone. This man is giving her no security. But if they're married, the things will be different. No.
Well, so okay, hold on. You're bringing the children thing into this. So whether you're married or not,
Yeah.
the amount of child support a woman can receive is irrelevant to whether they're married or not. So for example, if a man's income is a certain amount or whatever, and they're married,
Oh, okay.
or they're not married, they're
Oh, it's the
just-
same.
she'll get the same amount of child support.
Oh, okay.
Exact same.
Yeah.
So, but what's different though? Like the money that you made during the marriage?
Well, if they were married and the relationship ends, depending on the
Oh,
length of the
okay.
marriage, she could get community property, earnings that were accrued during the marriage, and then
Okay.
potentially alimony, depending on how long they were married.
Oh, okay. So if you're a dad, it's like your job to pay
Yeah.
legally.
If
I didn't know that.
Child
I didn't know
support,
that.
child support. You don't need to be married for the woman.
Yeah,
to
the
be-
government
Okay.
will garnish your wages. They'll just take the money from you and
Yeah.
give it to her.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's good.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
When you get married, you don't have an end in mind. When you're just dating somebody, it's a possible 50-50 that you have an end in mind. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nah.
You can still get out of the marriage. There's always an end.
I think
There's
if you're in the
always
right
an end.
relationship, you don't have that in mind. You just don't. No matter what situation you're in, married or not.
I think that there's an intangible quality to marriage where it deepens intimacy.
I definitely
The same
agree with
way
that,
where you're
though.
like, oh, hey, don't sleep with other people. We're official. And that person becomes your girlfriend or whatever. And then there's a sort of strengthening of your bond. I think maybe women feel that in marriage more. And that's why men are so like hesitant to it. But I mean, that would be my argument. It's not money or any of these other things. It's like an intangible sort of intimacy that deepens the relationship further that you're looking for. But maybe you're not looking for that.
But when you're talking about that, is that it deepens it further for more so for the woman as compared to the man?
It's in the relationship as a whole.
I almost wonder, because don't you also, Shane, don't you also hear these stories of guys who do get married and then things start to change?
Yeah.
For the worse.
Yeah.
Grid One Motorsports
we'll get into
donated
that.
$200.01. Imagine being married for 10 years and just deciding to leave and abandon your relationship, which is a sin, and the wages of sin are eternal damnation to hell. Seems a legit trade-off.
I don't believe in that.
Wait, you don't believe in?
No, I don't.
Oh, I do.
Well, you're Catholic. Right?
Yeah.
Well, you can't get divorced, right?
No, we can't get divorced. And even my first marriage, which was when I was a secular.
Prometheus73 donated $200.
Yeah, thank you, Prometheus.
If you want your man to get down on one knee, will you bow for your man?
I'll show the video.
Brian,
I'll
show the video.
Okay.
Hashtag don't get married, Brian.
I'll pull it up in a sec. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I first got married, I was like a secular person, and same thing to you. I was like, I don't understand the benefits of this. I don't care about religion. I don't believe in God. And at the time, I just did it to make her happy, which was the worst thing I could do. Obviously, that's been annulled and whatever. The Catholic Church handles that in a certain way. But yes, I believe when you get married, you can never get divorced, which is, raises the stakes and makes it a much more intimate act between you, God, your community, and your families.
I think it's crazy that you can get married at 18.
Yeah.
You can get married before 18, actually.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parent permission.
What?
Yeah.
Cannot do that in the Netherlands, though.
And you can join the army when you're 17, baby.
All right.
What are we doing? You know.
We got Robert Tanner here. Hey, thank you for the message, man. Appreciate it. And thank you, Grid One and Prometheus too. Thank you guys. Discord gives a 7 out of 10 right now. Also, someone mentioned turn your stove off. LOL. Wait, what? Also, taking a last name was part of coverture. It was a protection for men and women.
Interesting. Protection.
Interesting. Thank you, Robert Tanner. Really appreciate it, man. The bow video. Nick, can we get the bow video going? Okay.
Is this going to be a bummer?
No. This is kind of like what I think, like this first part here would make for a good relationship. Boom. Huge bow. I think
I like it.
I think the woman should hit the man with the bow with,
I prefer a curtsy.
I like it.
Wait, hold on. We need Isis for this segment. She's going to have thoughts on this. She's going to have strong thoughts. We'll wait for Isis. Is she just, where is she?
It's interesting. Oh, no, she is.
Wait, are you watching it, Isis?
No.
Okay, we'll play the bow one more time and then, okay.
I don't like that she's going to watch him eat.
That's a bit intense. That's
Right.
She's not gonna
Just
eat
like,
it.
does it taste? It's like when someone watches you open a present, you're like, don't look at me. while
I
do this."
actually love this, though. I actually love this.
Here, Nick, just the bow segment. So this is for Isis. So go ahead, play it.
Me?
Yeah, you're going to.
You missed it.
Boom, huge bow. Let it play for a few secs. Huge. Okay, cool.
What about it?
Yeah, so of somebody sent in a super chat asking if you would bow for your man, going around the table. Would you bow for your man?
I would bow for my man.
Okay.
How much would you pay?
Nothing. Zero.
No.
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 You wouldn't bow for this
you
guy
love
you've been
him and
dating for
respect him.
3 months?
No, if I'm not getting anything, I don't want to do it.
What do you need to get for you?
Something I want.
Like money?
Yeah, money is one, jewelry is one, orgasm is one, whatever we want,
Okay. Wait, I'm a little confused because actually we'll pull this up a little bit. We'll pull it up later. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that. I will also do a courtesy.
Curtsy.
I will be on my knees for this
Yeah.
man. If he's providing, he's like the man in the house, protective, safe, take care
Sure.
of the children. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, if he deserves it. And also, I have an argument for or against. What was the question before? About
What's your tattoo say again?